Hello? Test, test. Hello. I think it's working. Okay, there we go. Hey, how you doing? What's going on, guys? Happy weekend. Happy Friday. Yesterday was blast off. I truly didn't expect it, to be honest. I really thought that we were going to take another dip down to the downside. But, as always, you want something, you don't get it. In this case, we wanted to go down, but we went up. So it's a win-win situation in my book. We'll start talking about what we're going to be doing next. I'm still in my long at the moment. Looking to take profit pretty soon on this next retest. So I did get a new camera, a new camera. So hopefully, I still need to get a lens for this camera. I have the kit lens that came with it, which isn't too bad. It's 28 to 70 millimeters. But I do want to get just a 30 millimeter flat. Doesn't have any zoom. That's a aperture 1.4. That way I can get a little bit more light, because I mean, obviously I'm in a dark room here. The only thing I have shining on me is the key lights, and it would definitely help with the quality. Give a little bit more background blur. This is all post-processing background blur. I want natural looking background blur. And we're trying out some of the new songs. Somebody is working with me over Discord to kind of get my own custom songs for the live stream. That way we don't get copyrighted, and it's kind of just like a theme, like that way you can associate this song with me. We're going to extend it out so you don't hear the same exact 1 minute 22 seconds 4 times before the stream starts. I know it's a little bit weird, but hopefully you guys made lots of money this weekend. I know I did. The $100 account is sitting just under $1,000. So by the time we got all of these trades in, so the first trade on the $100 account was off of the double bottom on Litecoin. That gave us a profit of about, I think we went up to about 550 bucks. And then we got wicked out a couple times, which is unfortunate. At that point, we got down to about 400. I think at the lowest, it was 350. So still 250% more than what we started with. But after this trade and the Litecoin trade being opened, I did not open up an ETH trade. I have a macro long on that, so I'm not really messing around with these smaller time frames, since it was such a clear double bottom entry. But that being said, we're sitting just under $1,000. Once we get back to retest this resistance, I will be taking profits and then taking the breakout from there. We'll talk about kind of the setup that I'm looking for. And if we do get a chance, I might take a DCA long if we do see a 1 hour double bottom form that is really visible. Otherwise, I can't trust that. So we'll see how it works out. At the moment, I would like to see us come down a little bit lower, to be honest, get at least more significant range. Because if we are just working between, well, let me just, I know you guys can't see yet, trust me. If we're working kind of between 22,550 to about 23,590, that's about $1,000 range. So it's not too bad, but in terms of what we're working with, I think the range should at least be like $2,000. That would be a little bit better for me personally, because I would like to think that this is just going to keep going on forever, and there's going to be no consolidations. But there's going to be consolidations. There's going to be times where there's time to rest, and I would love to see a much larger range so that we can take some scalp trades in between and kind of build a little bit more to the portfolio, just in case we take off to the upside sooner rather than later. Obviously, at the current moment, as it still stands, if we do see another rejection around 23,590, our next closest support, in terms of macros, is definitely 19,700. We can always go back down there, so don't get me wrong. I'm not calling for bearish moves here. I'm just saying, all right, that is always a possibility. So don't be surprised if you see it. Always another chance to pick up some more Bitcoin. That's always a good thing. Let's go ahead and start saying hi. Let's see. The soy, I think that's how you say it, soy. Hey dude, nice to see your stream again. Nice to see you too, buddy. Hope all is well with you. Absolutely, man. We're feeling fantastic. New camera, new setup, new live screen. Everything's working out. Bitcoin's popping off. Life is fantastic right now. Fish, what are you barking at? Nobody's here. You're hearing stuff. You're paranoid. Crazy Kangaroo. Hey, Kite and crew. Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? Crypto Boss Andrew. Saw you ready today, man. We're I love how excited you get on your videos. It's awesome. That's what it's all about, man. If you're not excited, what are you here for? You just here for money? Nah. What up, Kite? We out here chilling. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, Waffle Boy. Crypto Soldier. Hooah, Kite. Hello. How you doing, man? What's going on? Kite, what a surprise. How you doing, buddy? Doing pretty good. I had to go pick up this camera last night. So usually when I go down to my sister, it's about an hour and 20-minute drive if there's no traffic. And I usually stay there for about a night, maybe 2 nights. But yesterday I had to go pick up this camera because she ordered it to her house. And yeah, I was in the car all day. But it was worth it. This thing's amazing. There's no auto shut off. Now, I don't have a dummy battery for it yet. So if the camera does cut off during the live stream, we just got to deal with it. You're just going to have just price action on your screen for that part of the stream. How much leverage am I using? Let's check it out. I think on Bitcoin, I might be using 34x leverage. I'm not quite sure. I'm signed into the wrong account. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. On BTC, I'm using 39x leverage. And then on Litecoin, I'm using 24, 27, something like that. So not too high in terms of what we were looking to do. All right. A lot of people get confused. When I'm talking about this high leverage, it's because of my entry to stop loss ratio and always dependent on how much margin I'm using. I don't know exactly what the setup was for this trade. Since it was a conditional, I did use the stop loss as the liquidation point, which if you're doing that type of setup, it's going to look skewed. It's going to look like you're using a lot more leverage than what you're supposed to, but it's just because you're using your liquidation as your stop loss. I like the start screen. That was made by Bitbird. It's amazing. So not to say that I don't, think Bitbird could have done a good job, but it was outstanding. And the amount of time she got it done, I think it looks perfect for exactly what I wanted. And I told her, look, I'm going to go back to her real quick. I told her if she could add like crypto kites, because like I see people in the thumbnails, they have like Bitcoin kite, Ethereum kite, not me, but like the actual kite. So you can see down here in the bottom right, you can see he's flying kites. And look, there's a little silhouette of fish. Isn't that amazing? I think that's fantastic. Oh my gosh. So let's go back to this real quick. Aaron, hey, how you doing, man? James, hi, Kite. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you too, man. Happy for you? Me too, man. I'm just happy crypto's moving. We're moving and cruising. So the measured target, we'll save the TA for just a second. We got to get through all the hellos. I'm here for the revolution. We're all here for it. We're watching it live. Have you got a new camera, Kite? Yes. So I got a new camera and then returned that new camera for a new camera. So the camera I'm using now is the Sony A7 version 2. I didn't splurge and go with the 3. I figured for what I'm doing, I really don't need all the extra bells and whistles. I don't need the 4K video. I don't need the extra stabilization, all that kind of stuff. This is perfect if I can just get a different lens for it. Lenses are expensive, man. Why they gotta be so damn expensive? Alexander Schmidt. Hey, man. Long time since. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Glad you joined it back in. But you don't get an extra fee for liquidating. No, I don't believe so. Liquidation, it's just like as if you were to get stopped out with a regular stop loss. The fee that you're paying is market fees. So if you get stopped out, that's a market fee. Whether it's through liquidation or whether it's through just regular stops. Bit proficient there, yep. How do you get those perfect leverage entries? We'll talk about it on live stream. I'll show you this is something that, I want everybody to use, whether or not you're in the groups or whether you're doing the one-on-ones, whether you're in the Telegram or whether you just watch the live streams. I want you guys to be able to use the tools that I teach people to use to make sure that you're not losing. All right. And hopefully one day that benefits me and you. All right. So, you should have the man, dog, and kites more in the middle of the screen. I think it's. I don't want it to be the main focal point. I think it's just one of those cool little things that you didn't really see until you really looked at it. That's what I like about it. Bitbird, the woman herself. I was showing off the new live screen, the starting screen. I think it looks fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Kite, how are you, brother? Car gets stolen and Austin goes live. What a car got stolen? What the hell? Did you chip it? You got a roadside assistance tracking it down? You're gonna kick in the doors of some people? I don't know, man. I would not be watching my live stream if my car just got stolen. I'm sorry, man. Well, good news is, you play your cards right, you'll be able to afford 10 of them by the end of this bull run. So I guess it's not all that bad. All right, Austin. Hope you're good. Did I miss ETH? Caught the retest of the breakout? I don't think so. You didn't miss anything yet. We haven't started to go get into the TA. We're just kind of spending some time face to face talking. But now that we're good with done with goodbyes, we can go ahead and switch over to the TA. Loving the new camera. Nice one, Austin. How's Fish? Can I say hey to him? He's sleeping right now. Maybe towards the end of the live stream, I can go ahead and get him up here in front of the new camera. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over. Pull this up a little bit more. Boom. Get rid of the background blur. And switch over to this one. We got to go here. I really wish it was an easier way to do this. And then boom, boom. All right, looking good? Fantastic. We're looking good. All right, so let's go ahead and start talking about it. Obviously, we're going to start off with the Big Daddy, Bitcoin. And first and foremost, all right, with these large run-ups after these breakouts, the one thing you're going to notice is we're going to have blow-off tops. We have a projected target, or at least we did here, maybe not in the future. But that being said, if you went ahead and took the top to bottom of the ascending triangle here, okay, you would have gotten this target here. You would have taken it to where we broke out from. Your projected target was about 23,000 if we want to round up just a little bit. Now, obviously, like I said, with these large run-ups, especially if they're happening extremely quickly, there's a lot of FOMO involved. So what tends to happen is we get blow-off tops. We go past the projected target. Now, don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. The people that have actual money, that are true traders, they don't care. They're taking their profits exactly where they think it's going to go. No more, no less. All right? Now, they understand this as well, that there's going to be FOMO, there's going to be blow-off tops. So after they take their profits, they just let it sit. They know that in that general region, it's going to be rejected because all the major traders are taking their profits. So they just kind of wait. And this is what we talk about in the one-on-ones. We talk about waiting for price action after we take our projected target's profit, waiting for price action to show us what that top and bottom of the range can be. That way, there's no guessing involved. You know the supports and resistances, you know what you're looking for, you know what you want, and that way we can get better entries, better stop losses, more money. It sounds like a car commercial. Oh no, like it's a Papa John's commercial. Better stop losses, better entries, more money. Hello, Mr. Bridgham. How you doing, buddy? New screen looks really good. Absolutely, man. So we're going for quality. We're gonna be the best channel out there. It's just a car. No one got hurt. Well, that's good. Gabriel, hi, Kite. Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? All right, let's go ahead and full screen this. That way it looks a little bit more professional. So, like I said, that was our projected target. I did not take profits there because I am trying to get the absolute tops and bottoms. So I am still in my long trade. Currently, at the moment, we're sitting at about 450% ROI. By the time we take our profits, which, like I said, after we got that rejection, okay, and I talked about this in the Telegram group if you guys were watching that. If you guys are using Hakonishi candles with no wicks, okay, sometimes what tends to happens is we get a larger wick to the upside, and on the averages, it really doesn't show that. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and find out the absolute top based on the wick, and then the top based on the average off of the candle body. And then if you add those two numbers together and then divide them by 2, you're going to get the average of the average, which I think is even better. All right, so our average high is sitting at about $23,590, just about. Okay, so I'm going to be taking my profits just a little bit ahead of time, probably around 23,450, 480. I forgot exactly what number I put in the Telegram group, but that's going to come out with about 600 ROI. Now, as we move further and further down, right, I don't think we've gotten a definitive bottom yet. What I'm on the lookout for is I do think there's going to be a little bit more downside. Let's go and check out the, let's say the 2 hour. All right, so 2 hour is just about to cross to the downside. It doesn't necessarily need to. Don't get me wrong. We could continue from here. This could be just a small pullback. All right. But I would like us to see us come back down to the 50 before another run up. It's going to give us more room to definitely put in a little bit more higher price targets. That being said, don't get ahead of yourself here. And I'm talking to myself as well. What tends to happen is when we break the all-time high, it's usually around the beginning of the year. And then we do very long-term consolidations, really testing that all-time high or around that region to really make sure that we're ready to take off, as well as that we're building the momentum for the bull run as well. Obviously, we've been doing that the entire time, but a little bit extra can't hurt. As well as that, on the way up, I don't know exactly what it's going to look like this bull run. Last bull run, it was anywhere between 30 to 40% pullbacks. So anywhere in that range is what we're kind of looking for here. I wouldn't say just yet. Definitely, we have a little bit of ways to go before those types of pullbacks. But like I said, at the current moment, our last major resistance or support resistance is at 19,700. So that is always a possibility to go back down. As you've seen on ETH went back down to retest its breakout high. So looking to find support around there, and then we can continue moving on. So who's to say that the same thing won't happen on Bitcoin? I don't think it will, but it is an availability. So just watch out for that. So right now, what I'm looking for is for the 1 hour to continue to pull back. As well as that, I'm looking for a double bottom. I would like to get a little bit more into this before we go ahead and take off to the upside. So if we can get a little bit lower on the range, see a nice double bottom form, I would be taking the breakout long on that, DCAing into my already in profit long. That way, we make a little bit extra before we go ahead and take our profits around 23,490 or 450, depending on what you want to do. And then after that, you can see I already have a trade marked up here. I'm going to be taking my entry a little bit above that new high at about 23,780. Stop loss nicely below at about 23,390. And then kind of just carrying it on. Now, obviously, you know, I don't have a projected target here. There is no consolidation. There's no pattern for me to get a technical target off of. But that being said, I mean, we can pretty much say anywhere around here. If we got to about 24,000, we can maybe say 28,000, maybe 30,000, who knows? But either way, that's going to be a good 5 to 10 restored ratio. Not too shabby. All right. And we'll talk about the other altcoins. Those have more definitive historical price action supports and resistances. So they're definitely going to be a lot easier to take profits on, as well as that take breakout trades on. So that's pretty much it when it comes to Bitcoin. Not a whole lot to talk about. We're still developing this range. So definitely as we move into Monday, there's going to be a lot more to talk about. And hopefully, I mean, if we're lucky, a lot more to talk about in terms of we just broke it. That would be absolutely amazing and awesome. But there's no rush here. Obviously, the more time that we get to kind of range trade, as well as that, the more capitulation we have, the easier these supports and resistances solidify, making sure that when we take those breakout trades, they're less likely to just be wicks and then, you know, obviously stop us out of trades. That would really suck. So definitely just give it some time. That's all. Let's see. Muhammad, hey Austin, how are you? I'm doing fantastic, man. How you doing? Bitbird, already the best dude. Thank you. I appreciate you making me blush. Stop. Can you speak on emotional management when trading and knowing when to stop? We'll talk about that. Let's see. Kite flying fast, Louisiana fast. Popeye says that right? Yeah, they do. Now, I will say, all right, I'm a Chick-fil-A man. All right, if you prefer the Popeyes chicken sandwich over the Chick-fil-A sandwich, you're smoking something, man, and not the good stuff. That sandwich sucks, all right? especially because I don't like toppings on mine. They put like mayo and pickles, and I'm like, why? What could be a new entry? Do you have an idea what you would do in this case? We talked about what my new breakout would be, as well as to take profit. So I kind of do this incremental thing. I like to, if we have historical price action, I like to take my profits no matter what. When it comes to price discovery, we kind of have to feel things out and hold our trades a little bit longer. Right now, obviously funding fees are going to be a problem if you have to hold it for too long, but this is why we do that incremental trade in, trade out, trade in, trade out. We're not holding one gigantic long. We're taking profits gradually along the way, building to our portfolio, making sure we have more money for the next trade, therefore exponentially growing our account on the way up. Building base support too far for future pullbacks. As well as that, yep. By consolidating here, we establish support for future pull. Yes, exactly. So maybe in the future, when we hit 28,000, maybe we have a gigantic pullback all the way back down to 24,000 and have a much more significant range there. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Let's see. 26K. 26K is a good target. I would definitely appreciate that. Let's go ahead and see where our 1.618 trend is sitting. That would give us a clue on what we should be looking for here. We're going to go with this. Let's see. The 1.618 is at $32,000. So currently we're stuck around the 0.618. Maybe we'll go back down and test the 0.382. That's always an availability. As well as that, our next major resistance. Usually in these, your major resistances are going to be 0.382, 0.618, 1, and 1.618. All right, so definitely our next major resistance is going to be 26,000. So you got that correct. And then after that, about $30,000, probably with a blow off top. So definitely looking for around $31,000 to $32,000. All right, enough talking about Bitcoin. It's boring. Who likes Bitcoin anymore? That's not where the money's at. All right, so let's talk about Ethereum. Ethereum is going back down on its way to retest the breakout. All right, so that is possibly what we're doing here. I did have this trade marked out for anybody that wanted to take it. We've had it marked out for probably at least 2 weeks now. Even when we were back here, we had this trade marked out. All right. Now, the next major place that I would be looking to take profit is definitely going to be $800. Okay, we're kind of just working between macros here. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of hiccups on the way to $800. I do think there's going to be small pullbacks, kind of staircasing pattern. But ultimately, the goal here is as long as we stay above $620, which is our last local range here, we're going to be retesting the next local macro high of $800. So, you know, it could take a couple days, could take a week, who knows? But it's definitely going to be there sometime soon. All right, so that's where I'll be really looking to take profits when we get up to that region if you are in an ETH long. I just don't understand how you can enter a 34x leverage position, dude. I'll explain why. All right, I know it sounds crazy, but trust me. When I'm talking about these higher leverages, and I don't want to get too far into it because we'll leave it for the more towards the end. When I'm talking about these higher leverages, everything is sound, okay? Even though it's higher leverage, I'm still going to make the same amount of money as if I was using 2x leverage, and I'm still going to lose the same amount of money as if I was using 2x leverage. Nothing changes except for how the trade is managed in terms of margin and stop loss, okay? And since it was a conditional trade, if you are using isolated perpetual, if you're taking a conditional, you cannot set up a stop loss on the conditional trade. So in substitute, instead of having to wake up at 3 a.m. at night and put in that stop loss when the trade is triggered, I just make sure that my liquidation acts as my stop loss. That way I can set it and forget it. That's pretty much how that works. So we'll talk about that more as we get further along in the video after we get through all 4 major coins. All right, so technical target though, coming off of this would be about, technical target is going to be just under at about $746. All right, just like on Bitcoin, just because the technical target is in that region doesn't necessarily mean that's going to hit exactly on that point. We might end up being support. That could always be a reason to come back down. Who knows? We'll see. But as of right now, the only things you need to care about on Ethereum, okay, is our stop loss, your stop loss. This is important here. Too many people lose good positions because of careless choices. And what careless choice am I talking about? A careless choice is using an automated stop loss, such as a trailing stop. That is a no-no. If you are using automated systems to control yourself, you just need to do it yourself. All right. The reason why I say this is because if you do have a trailing stop loss and we do have a pullback, yes, you could be in profit. That's not the big issue, but you are losing potentially a great entry for no reason whatsoever besides the fact that you're getting scared. That's all. All right. You need to break down your trades into if this and then that statements. Okay. So our if this and that statement, if we are trading ETH, is if we get above $620, then that resistance of $800 is going to be hit, no matter how much time it takes. As long as that is true, you don't have to do anything. Leave your stop loss in a good position. Yes, if you get stopped out, you will lose money. But look at the chances here. You are going to make 9 times as much as you are willing to lose. If you're not willing to lose your money for a 9 times reward, why are you trading? That is fantastic. Most traders out here are taking 1-to-2 ratio trades. That's ridiculous. If you can get a 9, you're flying high, buddy. You got this. Just leave it. Let it go. Let it roam free. Let it consolidate. Let it get to your target, no matter how much time it takes. That's all. All right. So now this does change. So like, let's say, for example, you are in a smaller time frame trade and we're trading between the top of this range at about $621 and the bottom of this range at about $496. And you are not just taking a trade based on a breakout, but rather within a range. So if you have a double bottom like this, okay, let's say that we have a double bottom here with a horizontal retest of about $524. All right. And you get your entry right here. All right. On the bottom. Okay. Now your stop loss is going to be below the support of the previous bottom. Now, when can you move your stop loss? You can move your stop loss only when you break the horizontal resistance of 524. Then you can move your stop loss slightly below that. That way it's safe. If you get stopped out, you're in profit, and you can always retake the long when we return back down to $486. From that point on, there is no other supports and resistances that matter in this trade except for the target. So you can no longer move your stop loss from that point on. If you had a trailing stop loss and it came up to here, then we had a pullback and you got knocked out of your trade, we never came back down to get a new entry. So you would have just been stuck twiddling your thumbs as price is climbing. All right. So that is why you need to be in charge of what happens with your trades rather than leaving it up to robots to decide when you take your money, when you take your profit. Okay. That's all. That's my little spiel. All right. So now moving on to Litecoin. All right. Litecoin. Start on the macros real quick. So we have our last local high at about $81. Now, this is what I'm talking about. As we get further and further away from the origin creations of supports and resistances, sometimes they don't matter. As you can see, the top of the range was at about $90, and we were kind of bouncing between $90 and $67 to $66. All right, that was our range there. That means if we're going back and forth with little to no stops in between, $81 really doesn't matter, okay? And we didn't really notice that until the second go around. We have to expect it on the first. That's always a given. Now, the next major resistance on Litecoin, all right, is not there. I don't know where that came from. All right, let's go to the 1 hour chart. I think it came from this smaller retest here of about 107. So our top of the range was at 91.39. I took my personal entry on Litecoin at 93.50 with a stop loss nicely below. I believe my stop loss was either 89.5 or 90 exactly. I forgot which one. And I'm looking to hold this trade just like we talked about on Ethereum. I'm looking to hold this trade until I can't no more. And my take profit is the next local major high of 140. So I'm probably going to take my profits somewhere around like 139, just a little bit ahead of time, and then letting price action cool down from there. Now, I don't know exactly how this is going to work out. If we do go ahead and get above the 142, 141 resistance, I might have to enter another long breakout just in case, with the expectation. This is, pretty much, if you're trying to make sure that your kid, like, let's say you're like, okay, we can go to King's Dominion this summer. And let's say something bad happens and you can't go to King's Dominion. All right, you want the good news, but just make sure that they know that it might not be a possibility. That's all. So when you're getting into these types of trades, sometimes I get into trades that I know I'm probably going to lose. All right, it's because we have to take chances here. And if we break above this next major local high, it's an if this and that statement. Now, if it's a blow off top, more than likely going to lose. And if we are taking profits around 139, there might be a blow off top. But I have to take that chance because the next major resistance is at $350. So if we can get an entry around like 147, let's say that, get a nice stop loss below it, maybe like 138. I mean, that's a good macro swing. That's a 23 risk reward ratio. So even if we get wicked out 3 times, we're still going to make 20 times our investment or what we're willing to lose. So that's kind of what I'm looking for next on Litecoin. I hate pressing the space bar and it just goes away. But as of right now, 140, that's our next major take profit. I'm going to be sitting in this trade for quite a while, depending on how long it takes us to get up to that next region. And if we do happen to see a little bit more of a major range form, maybe I might take some scalp trades, maybe I might not. Who knows? All right, we'll see as we go along. For right now, it's just a breakout trade to the next local high. That's all it is. Last but not least, the slow-mo, the turtle in the race. All right, but we'll win in the end. Well, at least you would hope so. Yeah, XRP is kind of just taking its dear old time. It's like a granddad right now. Everything else is seeing all the fun, and XRP is just sitting here. Now, that being said, all right, if you were lucky enough to go ahead and get an entry off of this 47.6 cent support, I know there was a couple people that did, as well as that we took profits on our trade at that lower level as well. Well, at least you should have. Now, like I said, it's an if this and that statement. If we get below this, you could have taken a short breakout trade, but it wouldn't have worked out. You would have gotten wicked out. But now, if this and that, if we are above this support, then that resistance will be retested at some point. All right, so nice stop loss below. You could be carrying this all the way back up to here. I would be taking my profits there and then resetting it with a breakout trade. That's usually how I like to play things. Okay, so that's a 10.68 risk reward ratio right there as well. Pretty damn fantastic if I do say so myself. At the moment, even at the moment, it's sitting at a 6.58. That's insane. All right, so next possible trade on XRP is definitely going to be a breakout above 72 cents. So getting an entry above that, obviously if you want to be a little more risky, you can always do that. Now, me in particular, with the way things are moving, and I have to sneeze, who knows when it's going to happen. Right now, okay. The way things are working, breakout above all-time high on Bitcoin, I'm not really expecting this 90-cent resistance to be much trouble. Okay, reason being is we have a large capitulation here. If you really think all of that built up momentum is just going to land us at 90 cents, I got news for you. I mean, even just from a pattern perspective here, off of the technical analysis target, all right, we're already looking to break that resistance on the technical analysis target. Our next major local high is about $1.15. That's why I'm aiming for that region in particular. So if you want to, just forget about the 90 cent. You could also take partial profits at 90 cents. Always up to you. Like I said, that is a 12.21 if you do take that trade right there. Obviously, if you want a little bit higher entry or a little bit more steep stop loss, just kind of give yourself a better feeling. It's still going to be around an 8 to a 10. So that's still fantastic. I mean, Ethereum itself is about a 9. So, I mean, hey, don't get greedy. Make sure you have good stop losses. Make sure you have good entries. That's all right? Have a good entry in terms of a little bit above the resistance. That way you don't get wicked in and then get wicked out. And then have a nice stop loss just in case of a retest. If you had your stop loss too damn close on Litecoin, you can see like right here, we got above it and I got my entry filled at 93.50 right here. You know, you really can't see it because we're on the wicks here, but I got my entry filled and then we came back down to retest that previous high before continuing on. So that is why you need to be really careful on how close you set your stop losses, because stuff like that can happen. All right. And if you can't see it, let me zoom in a little bit. Right here. Okay. I got my entry filled on my breakout long, and then we come back down and we retest that previous resistance can turn into support. So if I would have set my stop loss like 50 cents more and try to be, you know, a little bit more risky, make more money, I would have been wicked out. All right. Wouldn't have been good for my account. That's all. Because especially the $100 account, because I was using 20% risk on that, 10%, 20%, something like that. All right. So we've covered all 4 major coins. We can start talking about emotional management, you know, setting up your stop losses, all that good stuff. I just want to make sure you guys are ready for the price action that is coming our way. And if you did not get to trade the past, you know, 4 or 5 months of price action on BTC, do not miss out on the chances that you have on Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP. Those still have plenty of historical supports and resistances, local highs that you can use to take profits, use to take range trades, whatever it might be. All right. Now, Bitcoin's a different story. We're in price discovery. We really have to be patient and wait for these things to happen. So make sure that you take advantage of these coins before they have their all-time high breakouts as well. Where do you think XRP will come down to and bounce from? I don't think too far. I mean, we have a diagonal support and resistance here. So, I mean, maybe we already confirmed support, and this is kind of just a pullback to this previous resistance right here, and we're going to continue. I wouldn't count on coming back down to the 47-cent support. All right. If you did not get an entry in down there, don't fret. There's always more money. Don't get into a FOMO trade. Don't try to trade the middle. Wait for a breakout. That's your best chance. You're going to make lots of money. And, you know, this is the thing. You might want to get into these trades because you go, well, if I get in now, that's an extra like 30%, Austin. I can make so much more. But how many times are you going to lose before you take that final trade and you actually make money? So you'll end up making less in the long term. Oh, sorry, I didn't have it maximized, but yeah, that's what I was talking about. We have a diagonal resistance / support here. All right. And then this was a previous resistance, all right, around this range right here. You can see turn resistance. So it looks like we're retesting that right now. So that's why I'm saying don't really count on us coming back down to the 47-cent support. It could happen. All right. And if it does, take advantage of it. All right. But don't count on it. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about entries, getting the correct leverage, all that good stuff. All right. Let's use Bitcoin as an example here. All right. Since that was the question on why I was using 34x leverage. All right. So my entry was at 19,850. And I believe my stop loss was at 19,550. Somewhere around that region. Okay. 1.6% stop loss. All right. So now we're going to bring up the risk reward calculator here. All right, so with the risk reward calculator, you can find this in the description of all of my videos. Now, some of the older videos have, you know, as long as you're going to something recent, it's going to have the updated link. You can download it there. Also, if you're on the Discord, I mean, not the Discord, the Telegram, you can go into the Telegram. Here's a little peek at some of the stuff I post. you know, we talked about the $19,850 entry, and the price was just getting past that as I talked about that. But if you go to the main channel here, the Crypto Kite channel, you go up here to the top right, and you click View Channel Info, okay? And you go to 7 files, okay? There's also the updated one as well, this one and this one, all right? And then there's a simple trading strategy, which is kind of what I talk about every single day. All right, so now onto this. So at the current moment, the trade as it stands is already an 11 risk-reward ratio. Not too shabby, not too shabby. All right, and there's so much more to go, so much more to go. Well, we're gonna be taking profits at that. So the trade is gonna end up being an 11 risk-reward ratio. That being said, all right, so you're gonna take the risk-reward calculator. You're gonna input how much your account is worth in dollars. Now this changes all the time. Someone asked about this, you know, 2% of my portfolio at $15,000 is 300 bucks. And then 2% at 25,000 is 600. You know, just obviously not exact numbers, just kind of giving you an example. That's exactly what you want. The main purpose of trading in general is to acquire more capital so that way you can use less risk in terms of percentage of how much you have, but make more in terms of dollars. That way in the future, when you have $1 million, you can risk 1% of your portfolio. If you lose it, it's like losing your wallet and you're out 500 bucks, right? Sucks, but it's not going to kill you. Okay. Now maybe losing your identity and your credit cards, all that kind of stuff. Okay. We're not going to talk about that, but pretty much, let's say we had a $10,000 portfolio. Okay. Now this is where everything really does count. You can set this up 1,000 different ways. You just have to make sure the math checks out. Typically, what I do is I typically use about 8% of my portfolio as margin. All right, now with the $100 account, it's way different, and I'll show you how to set it up so that your liquidation is stop loss as well, which it does kind of require some tweaking, you know, maybe using a little bit less leverage to get exactly where you want your liquidation to be, whatever it might be. It's a little finicky, but if it's a conditional trade, you got plenty of time to set that up, so don't be lazy. So I use about 8% of my portfolio as margin, and I use about 25% of the margin as risk. Okay, so that means if I lose this trade, I'm going to lose 25% of my margin, which is 2% of the whole. So 25% of 8% of 100% is 2%. Hopefully that made sense. All right, all I got to know is that $200 is 2% of 10,000, okay? Now, you go back to your trade. You make sure, all right, that you're being adequate, all right? Adequate in terms of getting an entry that is above a breakout. That way you don't get wicked into it and then get wicked out. And then you have your stop loss nicely below the old resistance, new support on a breakout, okay? That way, just like on Litecoin, we don't have that situation happen. This is a 1.6% stop loss. You can see it was very, very adequate. It was a one-time entry. We didn't even have to think about it. And we let it ride. All right. So we're going to take this number here, 1.6%, which is our stop loss. Did my camera die? No. No. That's unfortunate. Hold on. Let me check it. Let me check it. When that turns back on, it should say battery exhausted if it's dead. I have to wait until Sunday. Yeah, battery exhausted. I have to wait until Sunday to get my dummy battery. Because I can't use the one that I bought for my old camera, which is unfortunate. All right, I guess you're going to have to just stare at the screen. You can't see my beautiful face for the rest of the live stream, but that's okay. I can't look at you angrily. All right, so our entry was at 19,850. Our stop loss is 1.6% away. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the calculator here, and we're going to put up 1.6. All right. Do not put a percentage sign. All right. It's broken. If you put a percentage sign here, it's not going to work. All right. So if you had this same exact setup, all right, 16x leverage times your stop loss will equal the percentage amount that you want to lose. So if I want to lose 25%, I'm going to use 16x leverage, because if I go down 1.6% times my leverage, it will equal 25%. See how that kind of works out? And then it calculates how many contracts you should be using. So if you are on USDT, you kind of have to do this differently. You pretty much just have to kind of put in the number of coins until it matches what you want to use as margin. That's all. A little bit different. The calculator was built before USDT was a thing. So the way I had it set up before, I think, I'm not quite sure, to be honest, maybe 4%, 50%, maybe. So you can see how I did that. All right. I'm still using 2% of my portfolio. So if I lose, I'm still going to lose 200 bucks. And if I win, I'm still going to make 11 times 200. All right. The only thing that changes is my leverage and my margin. Okay. That's all. I'm still going to lose the same, still going to make the same. Okay. So you see how I can get higher leverage, although nothing really changes. Okay. I still have the same stop loss. I still have the same entry. I'm still going to make the same amount of money, but my leverage is amplified because I'm using less of my portfolio as margin. So I have to make up for that in leverage. All right. And there is no extra fees for using higher leverage. Your fees are based on your contract size. Okay. So if I could do this like this, I could use 100% of my portfolio and use, 2% as margin here. Okay. I'm still using 12,500 contracts. And since my fees are based on my contract size, nothing changes. Still going to make the same amount of money. Still going to lose the same amount of money, but I'm using 1x leverage. See? Yes. So technically, yes. So when I talk about the $100 account, typically the first trade I take on the $100 portfolio is pretty much 100% risk. Reason being is because we want to have a good kickoff. All right. We want to make sure that we can get some good capital in the account. That way we can steadily reduce our risk from there, making more money using less percentage. So now the account is at $1,000. So I could use the same amount of risk in terms of money. So like before I was using $100 risk. All right. So now I'm only using 10% of the account, but I'm going to make the same exact amount of money per trade. See how that works? I went from using 100% of my portfolio as risk to using 10%, but I'm still going to make the same amount of money. So that way, when we're up, at like $3,000, I can still use 10%, but make substantially more money. And then once we start getting into the 10,000, I can start lowering it, 5%, and then eventually down to 2% as we get closer and closer to $100,000. That's my personal preference. Okay. Obviously, if you don't have a lot of experiences and your win ratio is still pretty low, don't do that. Okay. This has taken a lot of time for me to learn and make mistakes. That way I know personally what I can handle and what to look for that is going to benefit me the most in terms of price action and the types of trades I like to take. So that's pretty much it when it comes to setting up a trade. Pretty much just let price action show you what the possibilities are. After taking profits, don't try to guess the top. Don't try to guess, guess the bottom. Look for a double bottom if you're trying to catch the bottom, and let the top form by itself. There's no need to overtrade here. You've already made so much money. Chill. Or literally chill. Chillax. You've made money. Go, order a pizza. Watch some Netflix. You got this. Just chillax. But when it comes to emotional management, really all it is an addictive personality. Constantly checking your charts, constantly watching the 1 minute time frame, looking for a price action that doesn't matter. The things that helped me become less of an emotional trader is definitely waiting for price action to show you what the availability and what types of trades you can take. That's the first step. backing out to a higher time frame. That way there's not a surge of information flying at you every single minute. As well as that, everything doesn't look as extreme. On the 1 hour chart, this drop looks minuscule, but if you're on the 1 minute, I'm on the 1 hour, but if you're on the 1 minute chart, this looks catastrophic. What the hell's going on? We're dying. Do you see this? Bitcoin's going to zero, all right? The 1 minute chart exaggerates for a reason, and also exaggerates your emotions. Don't fall for the siren's call of scalping. You guys just saw, I went from $100 to $1,000 with 2 winning trades. And I probably lost like 3 or 4 trades. So don't stress. Don't stress. All right. Just let price action do what it's got to do. You follow through. That's your only job. As well as that. All right. When it comes to emotional management, if you can break everything down into if this, then that statements, that substantially helps. It's helped me significantly over the past 2 years, really get down my trading style. And I would really, if I had to refer to my trading style, it's like a single statement. It's an if this and that play style. That's all it is. All right. It's not the most complicated thing. It's not the most profitable thing, but you will make money and it's easy. You don't have to watch your charts constantly and you can just kind of relax. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, did you see Dan Penna? He flipped bullish. I did see that. I saw you post that on the Telegram. That's pretty cool. You know, when people like that start thinking Bitcoin's going up, I mean, you can't fight it at that point. It's hard when you make a bunch of money and just want to keep the ball rolling. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I talk. So that's what I talk about. All right. When you are in a good trade, such as this, all right? Now, obviously, it's a little bit different of a story because we don't have a local high to take our profits at. We have to go based off of new price action. But when you, if it, like, let's say it's the, $800 resistance on Ethereum, all right? Take your profit and just leave it. Don't try to guess the top. Don't try to keep the money flowing, all right? Now, like I said, if we get past a major local high, you kind of have to because of the if this and that play style, but don't overdo it. All right. But I'm not sitting here trying to, short, trying to catch that absolute top. Because by the time we get to the top, you might make a successful trade, but you also might lose a shit ton on the way up. No reason. All right. Just kind of reaffirm to yourself, if you continue to work the way that you're working, like for me. All right. So far, with only a couple of trades, I've added, this is not going to be the case the entire time. Let's say I add an average of 400% to my portfolio per month on the $100 account. All right. So let's go to calculator. Did Google really remove the calculator? Usually it pops up the instant you search for it. That's a little bit weird. All right. Let's just use the Windows calculator. Actually, no, because I like the... Okay, we'll just use this. All right, so let's say I'm starting with $100, all right? And I'm going to be adding 400% to my portfolio every single month. All right, so the first month, I went from $100 to $500, all right? It might not feel like you're making substantial gains and really going in the direction that you are. But after a couple months, it really becomes clear that you're really building a portfolio here. So another month. So month 2, we've now gone from 500 to 2,500. Month 3, 12,000. Month 4, 62. Month 5. See what I'm getting at? At the beginning of your account, you're going to have that monkey brain telling you, we need to go faster. We need to go faster. You're not making enough money. Do you want to be rich by the end of this bull run? Come on, man. What are you doing? Fight that feeling. You have to constantly reassure yourself that, hey, if I can make at least, 100, 200% to my portfolio per month, which is totally doable. I've shown people through the past 6 months of price action, you probably could have added at least 100% to your portfolio per month. In terms of Bitcoin, not even price expansion. All right. So please always come back and really see what this is why a trade log is really good for these types of people, because if you can really see what your win percentage is and, you know, kind of what you're adding to your portfolio, maybe per week or per month, that can help you get a better idea of where you could see yourself in the future if you consistently keep trading the way that you're trading. Or consistently, you know, if you're doing it the opposite way, it can show you, you know, you're probably going to die soon in terms of your portfolio. Exactly, crypto refund. All right, so risk management isn't just about how much you're going to lose per trade. Risk management is also about portfolio exposure. And you really have to understand that we are on, you know, depending on which exchange you're on, we are technically not doing something that we're supposed to. You know, if you live in the US, they could easily pull the rug out from under our feet at any point in time. They could, you know, find some way to get around VPNs and permanently ban people. They could be hacked. You know, one day you could log on to your exchange, and you know, it's happened to Coinbase. It's happened to a lot of exchanges that are popular, that are well secured. Portfolio exposure. If Bybit, for example, got hacked, would you rather have 10% of your portfolio on there or 100% of your portfolio on there? That is why leverage is such a good thing. Not just because we can make more money for what we're risking, but as well as that, we can make less mistakes in terms of, you know, portfolio exposure and having our entire accounts wiped out because of somebody else's doing, not yours. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This was your 1 on 62. Yeah, before we had the calculator set up, I literally just had a formula. I created the formula when we dropped out of the descending wedge descending triangle back in like October. And that's when I'm not afraid to say this. I was on drugs and I was trying to think of creative ways on how to minimize risk. And I had never seen anybody put it into that simple of a formula. So then I started teaching it to my students, and they turn it into a calculator, which I'm very grateful for. It makes it easier for everybody, not only me, but for everybody involved. And that's what it's all about. You know, someone makes a discovery and they share it with people, and then they expand upon it. That's exactly what happened with kite crossing. I made up a trading strategy around kite crossing, and I had to do it all manually. And then someone comes along and makes an indicator to make it easier. That is what it's all about. It's about sharing information and making it better through each iteration, rather than keeping it to yourself. I use Exodus for easy transferability, and then I just use I have a Tezos wallet, but whatchamacallit? Why am I blanking on the name right now? Ledger. Why couldn't I think of a Ledger Nano? I do have a Ledger Nano as well. Most of my coins are on Ledger Nano, but I do keep a pretty decent majority on Exodus, because I do trust Exodus. You know, you got to have two-factor authentication, all that good stuff. But it's a really good online wallet that allows you to kind of keep it off of exchanges, but at the same time have easy transferability. What's your suggestion if a friend jumped into a long at 23,500? I mean, it really depends on like your stop loss, or if you had a stop loss at all, and your leverage. I mean, that's why, you know, you have to get these entries and just kind of let it sit. Getting into it in the middle or at the top, not a good thing. But I'm not going to preach to you. You know, if you're in that situation, you know, if it's not going to be too hard of a loss, I would say just take it. I mean, obviously, if you take it and then price action turns around here, you're going to be pissed. There's no easy answer to that. But for me personally, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I would just cut the loss, as long as it's not a gigantic one. Do you still use MC for your trades? I got it 1 month ago, but still not sure how to use it correctly. I don't use it personally anymore. My subscription ran out, and I don't think it's a good investment for me and my portfolio. But I mean, if you haven't seen the video yet, it's pretty much, I think it's the first video on my page. Now, I will warn you ahead of time. This was back when I kind of was newer to not only trading in general, but at the same time, just kind of speaking in a professional manner, or at least trying to. So there was a lot of okays. Like, I watched the video again, like a couple months ago, and obviously it's hard to watch yourself because you're kind of embarrassed, but at the same time, I turned the video off in like 30 seconds. Let's see. God, where is it at? Okay, let me just go to my channel. Hopefully it's there. Maybe if you go to playlists. I don't know if this will be on my playlists or if you can see this. It's called How to Use Market Cipher Smart and Effectively. That is not a good image of me. Hey, how you doing, guys? My name is Austin. But pretty much I go through all the basics. When I used Market Cipher, I like to split it up because having everything stacked on top of each other really didn't do it justice. So I split the momentum waves and the VWAP separately from the RSI and the money flow, just to make it easier to see. So I go through and I talk about the divergences, how to spot them, what to look for on money flow, as well as RSI, all that good stuff. So I mean, if you are using Market Cipher and you need some sort of guidance on it, definitely look at that. But as I will always tell you, no matter what indicator you have, support and resistance, learning how to get better entries, learning how to get better stop losses is really what's going to make the difference here. Divergences and indicators are only one part, a very minuscule part of trading. Pretty much, if you are basing when to get in or when to get out of a trade based on momentum, you're going to be a sore loser. All right. You are not going to make the most out of your trades. And also you are not going to get the best entry for your trades. That's my opinion. Obviously there's a lot of people that have success with those types of indicators, but I guarantee you the people that do have success with them are using it in a very particular way. Just like I said, they're using it as a very minuscule part of their judgment and then leaving the rest up to, actual technical ability. Last question. I don't understand how you can use 4x leverage, or how you can 4 times that $100 account with no leverage in that short period of time. No, I use leverage. So my first trade on the $100 account was this double bottom. Not that one in particular, but the one on Litecoin. And I was using $80 risk, so about 80% of the portfolio, and I was using 24x leverage. And then I went from $100 to $550, and then proceeded to get wicked out of multiple trades because I was trying to take shorts where I shouldn't have. And then that's why, I kind of switched to more of a long mentality. And we didn't make a single trade until just yesterday. Okay. So, pretty much we were working from top to bottom. We let the top settle in, and then we were looking for another long down here at the bottom. And that would have been another great trade. And we probably would have been at 1,000. And then this trade would have probably brought us up to like 5,000, but that's okay. We're kind of just working with what we're given. So this is a big thing. I waited over, 2 weeks to make another trade because there was no available trades that really called my name and said, hey, this is a good one. All right. We did try to short right here. because, the 2-day MACD stochastics were going down, and, I thought it was going to be a good retest to the $12,500 region, or at least close to it. But we were wrong. And that's why we make sure that we use good risk management, and we do take the opposite trade, and we know where we're going to enter contingent on, the backup plan. What is the trade-off with exchange when using leverage? So leverage exchanges are a couple ways different comparative to like margin and options. Okay. Options is better for certain types of people. It does have a lot of advantages. All right. But I'm a leverage trader, so we're not going to talk about options. But that being said, leverage, think of it like this. All right. Think of it as a betting system where you're betting on one fighter or another. Those two fighters' names are short and long. Okay. Now, unlike margin, when you borrow money from the exchange to use higher leverage and make more from these trades, you do not have to pay it back if you lose. If you're using like Robinhood margin, some people have gotten themselves into absurd amounts of debt where they owe the exchange $50,000, $90,000 when they were only trying to make like 1 or 2 trades. All right. So that's why even if you've taken a couple losses on leverage and absolutely wrecked your account, count yourself lucky that you aren't using margin. All right. So think of it like a bank giving out loans. And instead of having to pay off that loan entirely, if you use it all, it's going to take a very small percentage of your open and just open trades. Okay. It does this for everybody. So that way it fills the pot so that people can actually make the trades that they need to. All right. So that's how it works. So the trade-off is that you're going to be paying market fees if you do market in, market out, as well as that you're going to be paying funding fees to help fill that pot for other traders. All right. But at the same time, you're also taking advantage of it. So you shouldn't be crying about it. And it's not really that big of a deal. Now, if you're constantly marketing in, marketing out, you're going to be chipping away your account, whether or not you're winning or losing. All right. Now, on breakout trades, those are always going to be market trades. You really can't limit a breakout trade. Now, sometimes you can, like we could have on Litecoin if we wanted to, but it's usually not an availability. Usually you have the breakout and you take off. So that's where you're going to use conditional market and market in general. So that's kind of the trade-off. Just some fees, but there's a lot of positives that go along with it. Jara, good evening, joining late. A little bit late. We're about 1 hour and 13 minutes into not the podcast, the live stream. Camera has shut down, so you can't see my pretty face anymore. But we're here. With spot, you can't get liquidated. You can ride any coin to zero without losing your coins. Yes. So it's about account flow. All right. You have to be adequate at multiple things. So as you continuously expand your knowledge of trading, you're going to start with a single leverage trading account and probably a single spot account on probably like Coinbase Basic. Now, as you get into more advanced trading, you're going to have to manage multiple accounts if you want to make the most out of price action. You're going to have swing trades open to make sure that if your scalp trades are failing, you at least are in profit. You're going to have scalp trades open to make a little bit extra to add to your swing trades. And then you're also going to be trading on spot as well. So I usually suggest that if you're going to be trading spot, you use the daily MACD crosses. Those are generally a good idea. And if you combine those with support and resistance as well, you're going to have a very good time when it comes to trading spot. You're not going to get the absolute bottom, absolute top, but you're going to get the average bottom, average top. And when it comes to spot, that's all we're really looking for, to be honest. Now, when it comes to leverage trading, you have to use a smaller time frame. You have to be more exact with your entries and exits and your stop losses. So therefore, you got to be a little bit more accurate. You can't really use momentum-based indicators as much if you're trading on leverage, which is really why I don't suggest stuff like Market Cipher. Is it good? Yes, but it's good for different types of people. I would say Market Cipher would probably be best suited towards a swing trader rather than a 1 minute time frame. My dad just bought 0.65 BTC around 9K. He knows nothing. When should I help him ladder out and take profit? Never. I'm just kidding. So I talked about my main strategy when it comes to the macro bull run. All right. Now, if you're leverage trading, it's going to be totally different. We've talked about how I'm taking profits, re-entering trades along the way up. But when it comes to if you're just kind of buying and holding on to it, I would recommend, right, finding the highest time frame that you possibly can that is getting a support off of the 50. Right? So at the moment, we can, this is just the RSI. So at the moment, the 1 day is showing support around the 50. So what you want to happen is for us to get into the overbought region, come back down to the 50 and get a bounce. Now I'll show you an example of how this actually looks in a bull market. Now I'm particularly looking at the 4 day. All right, you can see the 4 day has gotten a bounce off the 50, and we talked about this. We looked at this bounce off the 50 all the way back here, and I knew that this was probably going to be a good one, because when the 4 day is getting multiple bounces off the 50, which is the trend line in terms of if you're above it and finding support, you're ultimately bullish, and it's amplifying momentum. So every single time that we come up and then come back down, it's amplifying momentum. So the next time we find support, we keep going further and further and further until it no longer happens. So if we come over here to 2016, 2017's bull run, all right, you can see the same exact thing happens. All right, we get out above the 50, come back down, retest it, get a bounce off the 50, have our first major bull run up towards the all-time high, come back down, retest the 50, and you see every single time we come back down to the 50, come back down to the 50, come back down to the 50, come back down to the 50. Right here, we came back down to the 50, we slipped through it, we come back up, we retest the 50. Hopefully you can see that properly. Let me make it a little bit larger. We retest the 50 right here, and that marks the start and the end of the bull run. Marks the start of the bear market, end of the bull run. And you can see from that point on, we got rejections off the 50. All right. So are you going to get the absolute top? No, but you are going to get pretty damn close. And that's what we're looking for as traders. All right. So, I mean, if you really use that 50 method, all right, you would have entered somewhere around here and would have taken your profit somewhere around there. So you would have ended up with about 2,482% just based off of that single method. Now, if you would have gotten your take profit at 20,000, you would have made an additional 2,000%, which is nothing to scoff at. But you're looking to get your money and get out, all right, at the proper levels, because until we see that rejection off the 50, it can always continue to go further. All right, so you have to be safe and know when to take your profits and when not to. So do you place a trade and counter trade when breakout trading? Kind of, yes. So let's say I'm trying to short this resistance. All right. I'm going to have a conditional long already set up a little bit past my stop loss. That way, if I get stopped out on the short, I can get entered into a long immediately. Because if we're breaking that resistance, we're breaking that resistance. Now, if you were going off of this previous rejection over here, you also could have had a good time as well. You could have gotten an entry somewhere around 19,600. Set your stop loss nicely below. Now, this one you probably would have gotten wicked out of, to be honest. And it wouldn't have added, actually, it would have been more detrimental to you. So this is why I opted to go with the $19,850 entry. All right, because if I was to open up my trade based off of this support and resistance, my stop loss would have had to been significantly lower, i.e. less risk to reward ratio, in order to not get stopped out. All right, so me taking a higher entry and getting a better stop loss did way more for me. Okay. So it was right about here. All right. So me taking this trade, and this is what people don't get. All right. This is really what people don't get. They think that entering at a lower price point is going to make you more money. No. Getting a better entry to stop loss ratio will make you more money, because then your risk to reward ratio goes higher. All right. And you have a less chance of getting wicked out. So inside of this range, we put in a new local high, which sucks, because if you were trying to short this previous one, you would have gotten wicked out a couple times before we went back down. But you have to take note of that. As long as it's within a standard deviation, as long as it's not like all the way up here, all right, you're fine. Now, like over here, all right, this is what I'm talking about. Right here, this was our first rejection, first bounce in this range. And you would have just traded top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom. And then we got this new local high here, all right? That is way too far away. I would not say that that's my new range resistance. It's still here. Now, if it was like right here, okay, yeah, then you probably want to go ahead and move it just a little bit taller. Now, something I've talked about in the Telegram, if you're using Hakonishi candles and no wicks and you're on the 1 hour to 2 hour time frame, now the averages might do you wrong sometimes. So particularly if you see a single rejection, not a double bottom, just a single rejection drop, you want to see if it has a substantial wick on it. So like right here, the average is at about $11,966, but the wick high is at $12,133. Okay, so you don't want to move your resistance all the way up here. All right, put it in between the average high and the wick high. All right, and then you can see that a lot of the other price action that you would have gotten lines up more perfectly with it, right here and right here. All right, and down here, all right, this is why you don't do it on double bottoms. All right, so if I try to do the same thing on a double bottom, like it was right here, then I would have never gotten my entries and take profits on these trades over here. Double bottoms, they put in, that's the reason why there's double bottom. It's putting in a new range bottom. So like right here, boom. So you could have taken a long trade here, taken your profit to the top, taken a short trade here, set your stop loss above, taking your profit to the bottom. I always take my profits a little bit ahead of time, especially on the second bounce, because what you're looking for is a higher low. All right. So then from there, we continue to do the same thing. You would have had a failed short trade here and a failed long breakout trade here, but you would have had an if this and that statement and a contingent trade here, and you would have gotten back into a short trade and traded it from top to bottom, bottom to top, top to bottom, and then breakout trade. You see how I'm getting at? Mr. Kite, we'd like to open a conversation to the rest of the class. Next breakout, 100% at 100x. Discuss. We have not done that type of trade in a very long time. Back when we first tried to do a $100 account, we did a 100% trade, 100% risk at 100x on the break of this resistance here, and we took our profits right here. I think we only made like a 900% profit, which, I mean, we're pretty damn close to 900% on this trade. Now, I'm only using like 10-20% risk. We're not using 100%. I would say the weekly is okay, but it might not be in line with that 50. It's all kind of different. Let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly and see what it looks like. It's kind of similar. So I mean, just find where you got that bounce from. You can see on the weekly, we're looking for about the 55, not the 50. So it's all contingent on what you're trying to watch here. And you can see the same thing happen. Look, the weekly chart. We got above the 50 right here. That could have been your entry and just held on to it. All right, boom, boom, boom. Right here, rejection, same exact spot. All right, so it definitely does work. You don't have to use the 4-day. If you just want a little bit higher resolution, 4-day is good. Oh, let's see. So what is your preferred tools for 1-minute quick scalp type trades? This is how you should do it. All right. The way that I like to explain it, trading is like a puzzle where you work from the highest time frame in. So you need to make sure that you're paying attention. This is what's hard about being a scalper. You need to not only pay attention to the smaller time frame supports and resistances, but at the same time, make sure that you're paying attention to much larger time frame supports and resistances. So keeping a nicely organized chart, you know, color coding your supports and resistances, making different thicknesses for them, whatever it might be, and then working your way in and finding out which one. So if you can get like a scalp trade that's between a major resistance and then a smaller time frame support or resistance such as this, that's where you can make those types of trades. What you really want to do is kind of think of it like a kid playing by himself with a ball. All right, you want a very solid structure that he's throwing the ball against, and then he catches it on the way back and then throws it back. And then eventually it might slip out of his hand and go farther. That's what you're looking for here. So the purple line right here would be your wall, and you're the little kid throwing the ball back and forth from the wall, okay? And then eventually you miss, and everybody laughs at you on the playground. What are your views about Ethereum? Ethereum is one of the best coins you can get right now if you're looking to maximize profit for the bull run. I'm expecting anywhere between around $20,000 to $30,000. So if you can pick up anywhere in the $600 to $500 range, I mean, that's, you know, what, 25x almost? Actually, no. $500 would have been. I picked up most of my Ethereum on the break of the daily double bottom at $333. So I was looking for about a 100x there. If we can get up to $30,000, that is. That's what I'm telling a lot of my friends and family members. All right. Bitcoin is not really what you're looking to make money with now, unless you're leverage trading where you can take advantage of the percentages rather than the total. But if you're just buying and holding, Litecoin and Ethereum are where you want your money to be. Obviously XRP as well, but I can't really give you an accurate price target on that because it works off of different fundamentals. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Rock, what's up, Kite? Been following you for a little bit, a little while, and honestly say I've advanced way more since so. Thanks in mad respect. Where do you think, where can I find the risk reward calculator? Risk reward calculator is in the description. Just kind of sort through all the links, find it, download it. Yeah, it's a great tool. Great tool. With that being said, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and head off for tonight. Nice little surprise live stream. A lot to talk about. Really good questions. And that's, I mean, you know, like I said many times before, you know, I offer the Patreon for the Telegram and the one-on-ones. But if you guys ask these questions in live stream, I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to dumb down the information. I'm going to show you exactly how I would show somebody that I'm teaching face to face. So, you know, even if you've asked the question before and you just want to kind of a refresher, or maybe it's someone new to the live stream and you think that this question's been asked a million times, ask the damn question. All right. You guys, by asking me questions, give me a platform to show that, one, I know what I'm talking about, and two, to help other people. So you asking questions, whether it's been asked 1,000 times or it's a new question, it helps more than you possibly know. So ask away. All right, that's all. And with that being said, we're going to start saying goodbye. I'm going to plug my stuff. If you guys want to support me and support yourself and the channel through the upcoming bull run, if you guys have signed up for Bybit but haven't signed up under anybody, if you guys want to make a new account and sign up under the affiliate code that's in the description, some of your market fees will go to me and inadvertently go back to you guys, because that's going to be used to fund giveaways for the channel. It's going to be, you know, used to hire people to, you know, maybe make highlight clips of the streams, all that good stuff. That way, it kind of is like a self-fulfilling cycle of, you know, you watch, you trade. My hope is not to get you to sign up under the link and kind of just, you know, get you to waste all your money and me get all the fees. I'm hoping through these live streams and the one-on-ones and the you know, the Telegram, that I'm properly teaching you guys how to trade. That way, as you guys make more money on your accounts, I make more off the fees because you're making more money. I don't want you guys to lose. I want you guys to be in the game as long as possible, because the longer you guys are in the game and trading and making more money, the more we make together. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do here. So I try to be open and honest about how I make money off the streams, and obviously it's no, you know, I make what, $450 off one-on-ones, which I think is very, very modest. You know, I'm trying my best to make sure that it's affordable to newcomers and it's not going to break your bank. You know, there's been times where I've really stressed myself out because, you know, maybe like something big like this happens and, you know, like, you know, 30 new people come to the stream and they all want to sign up for one-on-ones, and then I have to end up doing like 2 weeks of back-to-back one-on-ones, but it's worth it in the end for everybody. So Crypto Addicted Snarf, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Crypto Refund, wish me luck. I got into XRP at 55 cents. I wish you luck, man. Proving Gold, thanks for the surprise stream. Thank you. No problem, man. I appreciate it. And steadily, like surely but steadily, we're growing in viewers every single time we stream. You know, back when I came back from like my 2-month hiatus, you know, we only had about 30 viewers per stream, and now, you know, we're consistently hitting like 50 to 60. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I wish the camera was on, because it kind of, I feel like I'm disingenuous when it's just the voice, but hey, I gotta wait till I get this this new thing for the camera. It sucks because I was gonna show you fishy. Crypto Pope, is membership level 101 a year per year cost or lifetime access to the Telegram? So the one-on-ones come with obviously one-on-ones, and then as well as that, you get lifetime access to not only the Telegram but also the Discord. You know, I'm not saying, you know, that I'm the full extent of Angel here, but I have been a little bit lackluster when it comes to the Discord. It's supposed to be weekly meetings every Thursday, at least for me, and I have not shown up to like any of them in the past like couple months. I kind of just forget about them, to be honest. I'm going to be trying to start showing up for more of them, but as well as the Discord, you get the Telegram one-on-ones. If you sign up through Patreon, which you don't have to, if you message me through Discord, it's only $450 through crypto. If you go through Patreon, the reason why I have to charge $500 is not just because I'm being scammy, because they take about 20%. All right, so they take 10% for sales tax, and they take 10% for Patreon itself. So I end up getting roughly $450. Question, do you believe the earth is flat? Nah. Thunderbird, thanks very much. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. John, good stream, buddy. Good to see you. And thanks for the live stream. Are you not going live tomorrow because you went live today? Well, today's Saturday. No, I'll be going live tomorrow. I'm sorry. I thought today was Saturday for some reason. I don't know why, but I will be going live tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. EST. Gabriel, thank you very much. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Crazy Kangaroo, thanks, Kite. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So much free knowledge as always. Thanks. That's what it's all about, man. Like I said before, you know, the amount of times that I've given people my methods or formulas and they've turned around and made it into something better than I could have. There's no reason for me to, hold back any information. You know, they talk about the people that are actually winning don't say anything. I'm hoping to change that because there's no reason. There's no reason to hide stuff when it's so simple and right in front of your face. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you big time. You too, buddy. Crypto is hot. If you're streaming, you will get views. Definitely, man. My hope is I can build the channel a little bit larger throughout this bull run. That way, when we get stuck into our next trading range, major trading range, like it was between 20,000 and 3,000, I have a good group of people that are actually going to be trading that with me, rather than people that are just there for the hype. Which there's nothing wrong with that. If you're just buying and holding and looking for news, that's fine. I wanted to see the new cam. Autumn, I gotta let it charge. I'll call you in a little bit. It died on me. Love crypto. Love you too, buddy. Peace. Good to boss Andrew. You're the most chill YouTube out there. You always deliver great advice. You deserve way more subs than 4K in my honest opinion. Good luck. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Said, dude, it's Thursday. You high? I don't know, man. Everything's up, down, and backwards. I think the reason why I thought it was Saturday is because I went down to my sister's house yesterday, and I usually only go down to her house on weekends. So I think that just might have messed up my brain. I missed the start. Do you explain what we should be waiting for to get in a fresh position? Yeah, that's pretty much after I talked to you face to face with the camera. I immediately switched into talking about Bitcoin, talking about how, you kind of have to wait for a bottom to solidify, where I'm looking to take my profits on my long and get into a new position. If I'm on watching crypto move, I look. That's awesome, man. Thank you very much. Nice to get feedbacks and comments real time versus Reddit. Definitely, man. That's what I like about live streams. And that's, despite how large my my following gets, you guys should kind of notice, like, if you guys ask a question, it might take me a really long time to get to it because I'm trying to go in chronological order. I try to make sure that I read every single message that comes my way and answer every single question, whether it's, hey, look at this coin, look at that coin. Because I feel like it's a two-way street. You guys are here watching, supporting me. I have to give you the same amount of respect, whether there's 100 people here, 2 people here, or 1,000. I want to make sure that each and every single person feels like they're getting direct attention, as if it's a one-on-one. Never settles. Have a good night, Kite. Thank you. Have a good night to you as well, man. Hopefully you made lots of money and continue to as well. I'll be here to help you. I've learned a lot just watching the streams, hands down. You keep the info realer than anybody else I've checked out, and hopefully sign up with you. I just joined CBC's group. Crypto Bitcoin Chris, man, he's kind of what I used to get my start in terms of trading. Definitely a great guy. I've talked to him he reached out to me and wanted to talk to me, and that is such a great feeling to know that somebody that I look up to and has taught me so much has reached out to me personally to congratulate me on the growth of my channel and just talk about, you know, different ways to grow it. I owe him a lot, man. Great guy, offers fantastic value for what you get. And that's what I kind of wanted to model my channel after, was him and, you know, his Patreon group, and, you know, keeping it inexpensive but yet effective. Because you look at other people like, you know, I'm not hating on anybody. These people, they can charge what they want. Setting your own value is hard sometimes. And, you know, maybe I'm undervaluing myself, but, you know, like Mitch Ray, he charges $130 for his Telegram group. You know, I haven't been in it personally. Hopefully he's giving really good calls so that people can, you know, pay that and, you know, make the money back, you know, from what they paid into the Telegram group. I really hope so. But that just seems a little bit too steep for the average person. And I would hate to, you know, do that to most people and kind of paywall them out. Bitbird, ciao, ciao. Goodbye. Thunderbird, smash that like button. Absolutely. I always do. I appreciate it when you guys do that. So, with that being said, long enough goodbyes. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. And hopefully we have a bottom solidified by the time we hop on tomorrow. So, see you next time. Love you. Talk soon. Bye-bye.